number of restaurants. Okay, so now we could talk a little bit about probability. So probability is I think of it as a way of representing the different percentages. Okay, so here's the some of the notations as a review. Of course, you guys have gone through this probably more than once, right, in your classes. But let's just a quick review of the terms. A joint probability. Remember that was like if you have two conditions, satisfy two conditions. So what is the probability this restaurant is rated excellent and also has average meal price under $30? All right. So for example, probability that the randomly chosen restaurant is excellent and price is under $30. Under $30. So probably that satisfies like two conditions at the same time. All right, and people actually use the let's see, what do we? So people usually use this kind of notation A, and then with a little upside down U, B, like this. But this one is harder to type because you gotta find it. You gotta find the symbol. So I'm just gonna stick with this. Easier. This is easier to type. P and D. Okay. Now the marginal probability is just one condition. It's just one condition. So if I were to ask, what is the probability the restaurant is price is under $30? So just satisfying one of the conditions. So it's just simple, normal probability. And the conditional probability is that you're given some condition. So suppose that you know that something has happened already. Now, what is the chance this other thing is going to happen? Probably that A will occur given that B has occurred. Okay, so what do I mean by that? For instance, if I know that I have an excellent restaurant, so if I know that this restaurant is rated excellent, what is the probability that the price will be under $30? So given something has occurred, given I know this, what is the chance this other thing will occur? Okay, so here, let's kind of write that down here. Okay, so I could say something like, hey, where's my pen? So given that a restaurant is excellent, what is the probability that the average meal price will be under $30? So if I were to ask a question like this, I'm looking for a conditional probability. So how I would word this? No, how would I would write it? How would I write it in terms of probability notation is something like this. So I have like this bar between two places here. What is given goes here. So given part, that is the excellent part, goes here on the right side. And then the question I'm asking for, the unknown part goes on the left-hand side. So it will be price is under $30. So the way that I would read this, and again, let me just right here, that part is the unknown part. This part is a question that I'm asking. So what is the probability that the price is less than 30 given that we have an excellent restaurant? So now how would you get that given this data? I could just count. So that's what I'm kind of putting it here. In terms of probability notation, this is kind of how you would write it. Probability of A and B divided by probability of B. The B part, this goes and down here. We know all the counts, all these different counts, so we could just use a count. So here we ask, like, how many satisfy this condition? That goes in the denominator. So how many restaurants are excellent? That goes here. And then we ask, out of that, out of this many restaurants that are rated excellent, how many of those are also have price under $30. So excellent and under 30. So in terms of this example, I would write it, oops, okay, right like this. So we would say count how many are satisfy both. So less than 30 and excellent, and then divide it by count excellent. So number of restaurants that are excellent goes in the denominator, and number of restaurants that satisfy both conditions that go in the numerator, and that it makes sense, and that should give us the this kind of probability. So given some excellent restaurant, what is the probability that the price will be under $30? Okay, so this is kind of like a notation that we want to be familiar with. So this kind of thing here, it's kind of like a nice little shorthand that we could use. Okay, so using this kind of notations and the ideas here, we're going to answer these questions. So out of all the excellent restaurants, what percent charges less than $30 on the average? So out of all the excellent restaurants, what percent charges less than $30 on the average? So this one, actually, I already wrote it here. So this is what we need to do. So given excellent restaurant, what percent charges under $30? So it's the same as we did probability. Right? So we just count. So we need to go, and let's see. So we get something. Okay, well, I guess we write down. So we could say, okay, count how many are excellent. Okay, so out of this goes in the denominator, and charging less than $30. So out of this, less than $30 and excellent. Of course, we'll be just looking at this group. So out of this group, the $30, less than $30. So 30 and okay. So let's see. So if I look over here, here. Okay. What goes in the denominator? Okay, so like, what goes in the denominator here? That's the count of excellent, right? So what is the count of excellent? Yes? 66, right. So 66, that's over here. Right, excellent, the total, grand total, 66. Okay, so we're going to go here. Okay, excellent is 66, so that's the excellent part. And then here we need to do excellent and the less than 30. All right, so and what's that? Yes? 16, right, excellent, and less than 30, so that's 16, right, so that's 16. So what we're doing is we're taking this number, right, that satisfies both of the conditions, the less than 30 and the excellent, and then dividing by the total number of excellent restaurants. Right, the 16 divided by 66. So that would be, okay, well, let me write that there. 16 divided by 66 is 24%. So we say 24% so of the excellent restaurants have under $30 for their meal price. Okay, so let's do it here. Try to center, so 24%. Is that right? Right. Okay, well, out of all the good restaurants, what percent charges less than $30 on the average?
Out of all the good restaurants, I'll do 82 divided by 84. That's equal to 98%.
So you said 82 divided by 84?
What?
You said 82 divided by 84?
That's correct. That's
okay.
98%.
98%. Oh, okay. Wow, so that's a big,
majority.
Yeah, that's a big difference. 24% versus 98%, and that makes sense, right? So good, nearly good. Okay, they can afford to charge that much, and so most of them have under $30. Okay, and let's see. So let's kind of look at in terms of these numbers. Again, let's just make sure we know where these numbers came from. Right, so that's the 82 is here, and then divided by 84. 82 divided by 84, so that was that part. And then here, if the restaurant is really good, what is the probability this restaurant charges average meal price under $30? Okay. And so this is the if it says if a restaurant is really good, so that part is already given. You know, if it says if blah blah blah. So if this way, if this has already happened, what is the chance of this other thing happening? So here, what we're doing is, well, that's the if the restaurant is really good. Okay, that's a little too thin. Is a good. Then what is a probability this restaurant meal price is under $30? So under 30 is what we're asking for. Probability of what? Well, the probability that the meal price is under 30 given that the good has already happened. So when we say if it's good, then that part good will be the given condition. And we're going to the right side. Okay, so here again, it's the same thing here. So we're saying 82 is less than 30 and good, and 84 was the good restaurant. So of course it means it's the same thing, 98%. Okay, so the next question, if I know that a restaurant charges under $30 for average meal price, what is the chance this restaurant was rated good? Okay, so let's see what we're given. Restaurant charges under $30. Under $30 if, okay, I know this. I know this is given. Now I know this restaurant charges under $30. What is the chance? What? Now that's the question. The question. What is the probability or chance that this restaurant was rated good? So this is the unknown part. So how would I write this in terms of conditional probability? Okay, so on the right, what would I put here? Less than 30. Less than 30? Less than 30. Where? Which side?
On the right side.
On the right side? Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Right. So under 30. If I know the restaurant, okay, that part is given here, right? So that part goes here. $30. If I know that this has already happened, now what is the chance the restaurant was rated good? So the probability of good. What is the probability of good given under 30 for the meal price? Okay. Now, don't we already have this? And so here, right, I'd have to go under 30 will be in the denominator, and then good and under 30 will be in the numerator. Okay, so let's go to Excel, right? So let's go over here, and let's go over here, and okay, so probability of good under price under 30 is going to be for the denominator. I would have to go where? Under 30. And do you see the count on the pivot table? Under 30?
Yes.
Under 30? I just covered it up, but that's 196? 196. So it's 196. And in the numerator, I would put what?
82.
Right, 82. So 82 good and under 30. So that's 82 would go here. Okay, so 82 on 96 and right, 42%. Okay.
42%.
Okay, so that's good. So that's the 42%, and let's write it down. Is 42%. So you could see that like these now are actually different questions. So right, different questions. So you gotta be careful. What am I dividing by? What is the given part? So the given part goes in the denominator. Okay, and let's see what else here. Oh, well, I guess I'm done with that. But I want to show you here. I want to show you. There's like different ways you could divide, and actually I don't have to. Okay, I don't have to divide myself. I have to do the dividing myself like this because I could get PivotTable to get all kinds of conditional or joint probabilities. Okay, so if I take, let's say, if I go over here, if I take each number and divide it by the grand total, then I'm going to get joint probabilities. So if I go here, and then I divide 82 divided by 300, for instance. So Okay, so 82 divided by 300, that's over here, or 2 divided by 300, 98 divided by 300, and so forth. And that will give me like the count of the restaurants that satisfy, or the percent actually, right? Percent of restaurants that satisfy both of the conditions, both of the conditions that are given by the row label and the column label. Now, if I do it, maybe divide by the row count, so 82 divided by 84, and then 2 divided by 84, and then 98 divided by like 150, and 52 divided by 150, and so forth. So that gives you different probabilities, and these will be conditional probabilities. So that will be like given. Suppose, so out of the good restaurants, here what we're asking is, out of the good restaurants, what is the probability the meal price is under $30? Or you could say something like, what is the percent of the restaurants that are good, but out of what is the percent of the restaurants that have under $30 out of the good restaurants? Okay. And then here I could do, or I could divide by the column total. So I could do 82 divided by, like this one, 196, 196, and then 2 divided by 104, and so forth. And those will give me the other way, the other conditional probabilities. Okay, so those kind of numbers are easy to get. So what I could do is, I'm gonna kind of, maybe I should erase all these things here, and I'm gonna just make a couple of copies. I think I'm gonna make just a Control-C to copy, and I'm gonna paste this 3 times. So Control-V, Control-V, and then Control-V, and so I could make all those different configurations. Okay, so this is a count. Here I'm gonna do the joint probability, or I'm gonna divide everybody by the grand total, and that's easy, right? It's easy. I could just go value field settings, go to show values as, and then what? Percent of grand total, column total, or row total. If I want a joint probabilities. So remember what we did here. So if I want to join, I divide by the grand total. Okay, so I'm going to go over this one, value field settings, and then I'm going to do show values as the grand total, and then okay. So here it is. Now you could tell this must be correct because the 100% occurs only in this one corner, the bottom right corner, which is a grand total, and all the other numbers are less than 100%. Right. So, and if you check, like if I add these numbers together, you get 100%. So you get 100%. Okay. So I could try that. So I'm gonna try summing, right, these numbers inside, and that does give me 100% as I expected. Okay. Now this one is, now we're gonna do let's say percent of row total. So this one, we're gonna go to value field settings, and then I want to show values as percent of row, and there it is. And you know you did it right because on the right you have 100%. So at each row, to the right of each row, you got 100%. And if you add the numbers together in each row, that should give you the 100%. So that plus that is 100%, and so forth. Okay, so like here we're asking, so if you're say, okay, what is this? What does this represent? It represents percent of the restaurants that satisfy this out of the good restaurants. So out of the good restaurants, 98% have the meal price under $30. Okay, and then this one again, we'll do the column total. So percent of column total, and we'll look at again value field settings or field settings, show values as, and then we'll go over to column total, right? So there it is, and you could check, oh, okay, 100% in the bottom of each column, so that makes sense because I took each number and divided by the total here, so in the bottom I would end up with 100%. If I add these numbers together in each column, I should get 100%. Okay, any questions? Any questions? So these are the different ways you could get all these different percentages that you might be interested in using a pivot table. Okay, so by the way, here, okay, so when we did the, how did we decide to use the count of the restaurants here? How did we decide that part? Okay, why not some other thing?
Because the fact that some would be basically like add everything up, and that would look
right. Some would not work. Right.
Average wouldn't work. I think count would make the most sense because you're looking for a quantity of a particular amount of places versus something that you are, trying to add up or trying to get average of.
So you want the count. Now, what if I did a count of? What if I use some other variable? Let's say quality rating. What happened here? Did it change?
No.
No. Oh. Okay. Well, maybe I could use some other variable. What if I do a wait time?
No.
No. Didn't change. So here, actually, you don't have to use, when you're doing a count, you don't have to use like a variable named restaurant just because you're counting the number of restaurants. What you're doing is actually counting the number of rows. We are just counting the number of rows that satisfy certain condition. And there happened to be a column that was named restaurant, but I could have used any other column. So if you're using if you're trying to count something, count how many satisfy certain conditions, you could use any variable. So I could use the wait time, or the meal price, or restaurant, whatever, as long as I turn it into count. As long as I want the count. So just the count of any variable, and it actually works. So you don't have to worry too much about which variable to use when you're doing the count. And by count, I mean, again, like number of restaurants, number of rows that satisfy certain conditions, or the percent of rows that satisfy certain conditions. Okay.